purely on the footballing side of it, they've won 7 games in a row. They won 1-0 in their first game back against Cremonese. Cremonese have not won a game yet this season, and twice in the first half thought they'd scored. They could have lost this game, it felt like, but they didn't. They won in the 91st minute with a free kick from Milik, a really nice free kick, and continue this run of just scraping wins, but it's now 7 in a row and they are third in the table. Off the pitch, it's really, really sort of serious, worrying stuff going on for them. There's been this investigation, the Prisma investigation, led by the Turin prosecutors, and it's got to the point where charges have been levied against them over a number of issues, basically relating to how they wrote up players' values on their balance sheets, and then also a separate thread, which is the payment of wages to players who renounced wages during the COVID pandemic because they reported and said publicly that players had given up 4 months worth of wages. It's now emerged that actually they gave up 1 month's worth of wages with a promise that the other 3 months would be paid back to them, either in a loyalty bonus or in bonuses tied to them leaving the club. There's a thread of financial misreporting, which is relevant legally because Juventus are listed on the stock exchange. So if there were misleading financial statements made by the club, then that has a knock-on impact for investors. There is allegations of false accounting. There's allegations of false invoicing. Serious stuff that has got a legal process it needs to go through, which is the Italian court system, and also has the Italian Football Federation is doing its own inquiry. They already did one into the Plusvalenza, which was the first thread in this investigation earlier in the year, but the new wiretaps that have come out from Prisma have led them to reopen that, and the sporting penalties, in theory, depending on what is ruled, I mean, it could be nothing in Juventus, it should be stress, deny all wrongdoing, but could include fines, could include point penalties. Meanwhile, UEFA have also opened up an investigation because they're saying if there was false financial reporting, how does that tie into the settlement agreement that you made with UEFA to play in the Champions League? Because they were in breach of financial fair play. They made a settlement agreement, and that agreement relies on what's been sent to UEFA, their financial reports they've sent to them. So there are 3 really big threads to this, with sort of nuclear scenarios that could include, again, points, penalties, fines, being kicked out of European competition. It's hard to predict with confidence how things will shake out, but at the very least, I think you have to sort of acknowledge the seriousness of some of the stuff that's come out in the wiretaps. Directors sort of openly acknowledging that they felt like they were on uncomfortable territory, risky territory with some of the things that were going on. And the fact that the entire board, including Andrea Agnelli, 1 year away from the club's centenary, stepped down reflects that this is being taken very, very seriously, because it's a very serious matter. How that impacts them in the short to medium term, I expect we'll see no transfer activity coming in this January, at least nothing major is what I would expect. And I would imagine that lots of players will be reluctant to join them even if they did want to spend the money.